Hey, what's up, guys? Welcome. The Doctor is in, and we are back to start up Umineko When They Cry, Episode 3, yet again. So, in our previous episode, we learned that Beatrice was indeed a real person whom Rosa apparently killed. But, how is she alive? Who knows? Maybe she really is a witch. Maybe she is using magic. You'll find out. And hey, Mickey, thank you for the lurk. Glad to have you here, as always. Hope you're doing alright. Let's see here. Let me just take care of a couple things. Alright, got that. And let's make sure that the audio output capture is working for the sound alerts. Any second now. Could the sound alerts not be working? What's going on here? What's going on? Let's see. Let's try this. Well, that one worked. Why did that one work? Did they take hello there down or something?
Hello there.
Nope, it's still there. Okay. That was weird. It just didn't want to work the first time. All right. So let's get back into this. Yes. We had just passed midnight, which means that the games begin. Let me adjust my seat. No. Well then. How will this game be resolved? You may submit or you may resist. Either way, it will truly be an entertaining banquet worth betting my short remaining life on. In his dimly lit study, occasionally brightened by lightning, Kinzo kept mumbling and laughing to himself. On the antique clock with the intricate design that had been sitting on his desk, the two overlapping hands tilted to the right and began to slide. The measure of time that counted up to 24 had returned to 0 and had begun to count back again. Measuring time is a brutal thing. It drags itself all the way to 24 over the course of the day and then returns back to 0. It certainly did count to 23:59. However, is it ever able to reach 24? If you conclude that it returns to 0, again without reaching 24, how futile it must all be. But perhaps a person's life's the same. You live aiming for a perfect 24, and in the instant you reach it, you return to 0. People will probably praise the departed, saying that he did reach 24, but he most certainly did not. In the end, he's a 0. I am different. I will live and reach 24. That itself is the Golden Land, for that is where Beatrice dwells. Kinzo had been fumbling around with some tarot cards for some time. It looked as though he was trying to divine his own luck with a contest, doing it over every time he didn't like the result. The most forbidden action in tarot reading is trying to predict the same thing twice. To do so ridicules the results of fortune-telling, and also desecrates those beings higher than humans that give revelations through the tarot cards. However, Kinzo knew. Tarot cards shouldn't be used twice because, since they're nothing more than a random number generator, reading them twice will naturally cause a different result to appear. Therefore, reading them twice was only forbidden to preserve the mystique of the tarot card's results. However, that didn't mean that Kinzo didn't take tarot reading seriously. Kinzo's interpretation of tarot reading was done in a completely different way. That was to repeat the reading over and over, without giving up in the slightest until he reached the result most favorable to him. The mark for he set this most favorable result would vary, but when he demanded the most favorable result in a strictly literal sense, it was the same as a simple roulette of luck, where he seeked an arithmetic miracle. However, Kinzo used miracles of numbers as the basis of his magical power, so this functioned perfectly well as a magical ritual. In other words, until the result he has desired appeared perfectly, he would strive to repeat the tarot readings over and over with conviction, turning the feelings of his heart into prayers, so that when they reached the heavens, they would be sublimated into results. This was Kinzo's personal magical interpretation. Therefore, even though Kinzo's tarot cards were no different from those generally used, the way in which they were used was completely different. Tonight will not go as I thought. Kinzo stopped his hands for a second. He seemed not to be getting the results he wanted. On the contrary, bad cards that shouldn't show up so often appeared repeatedly and continued to interfere with the miracle Kinzo wished for. Is that how it is? Kinzo seemed to have received some revelation that was different from normal. But judging by the unlucky cards scattered across his deck, it was difficult to imagine that the omen had been a good one. For a while, Kinzo closed his eyes tightly, pondering something. Then, as the thunder roared, he made up his mind about something, took the telephone receiver, and dialed. "It is I. Is Genji there? An urgent matter has come up." In the front of the entrance hall, Shannon's once burning face had been cooled off by the frigid air. She had thought that George's proposal would surely come sooner or later. It wasn't as though she hadn't prepared herself mentally, and she had answered by nodding. Had she been reckless because of her youth? Should she have thought about her future more seriously?
I wonder if my immediate reply made him think I'm a cheap girl. If I'd waited at least until tomorrow morning, would that at least have shown him I was taking this seriously?
Now that she'd already received the ring from George, Shannon kept fidgeting in embarrassment.
I should have done this. I should have done that.
As she did, she heard the sound of footsteps splashing through puddles. Shannon immediately chased away the emotions welling up inside her.
Genji-sama. And Kanon-kun, too. I'm sorry, I have to go back soon.
She grew stiff, thinking she'd surely be scolded for spending too much time in her secret lover's meeting with George. Shannon, the master told us to come to the study, saying it was urgent. Let us hurry.
Huh? Yes, certainly. What in the world?
He said he had a premonition of misfortune.
Thank you for the lurk, Donna. How is it going? I hope you're doing well. Thank you for joining.
How convenient for him, considering he's the one who started this ceremony. We'll enter from the back so that Goda doesn't notice us. Hide your footsteps. Yes. Nei-san, take care. You're so noisy. Kanon was especially good at hiding his footsteps, just like a cat. He was able to suddenly be there without anyone noticing and leave in the same way. For example, even though he stepped in puddles, the sound he made was far smaller than that of the rain hitting them. Genji also had abilities of that kind. Or rather, those servants called furniture were supposed to be like that. So far so good, just got home from dinner and getting a couple things done before chilling from the evening. Ah, very good. Very good. Sounds like things are well. Glad to hear it. Just like how desks and closets go unnoticed by members of the family, these servants also held it as a great virtue to just suddenly be there whenever they were needed. Compared to that, Shannon's footsteps still strongly asserted themselves. She was also trying to hide her footsteps, but compared to Canon and Genji, well, you could say she was a little more boisterous. Eventually, they reached the back door, and the three of them entered the mansion. Immediately, they thought they felt something. It was different from a sense of smell, and it seemed to hit the depths of their noses. This hard-to-describe sensation, which you might call a sixth sense, allowed them to perceive that something was different than usual. Genji-sama. Indeed. Let us hurry. That sensation made it feel as though a tense something was pressing in around them. Realizing that, the three of them dashed up the stairs, heading for Kinzo's study while hiding their footsteps. When they dashed up the stairs, that smell of sweet poison, particular to Kinzo's study, reached their noses.
What is it, Genji-sama?
The barrier is dead.
Huh?
Hold up. Okay, never mind. After hearing Canon's words, she looked at the door to the study. A scorpion pattern was engraved on the doorknob, a powerful ward against magic. The final barrier which protected Kinzo himself. It had been broken. Of course, there was no change to the doorknob that the eye could see. However, those who could understand things people couldn't perceive were able to recognize that a dramatic change had occurred. Master! Master! It is Genji! Please, open the door! Genji called in this way after knocking several times, but there was no answer from the study. Shannon, guard our backs. Cannon, search inside the room.
Yes.
Cannon put his ear against the door, searching for a presence inside the study. To protect the backs of the pair watching the door, Shannon faced the other way, ready for the unexpected. The master must be in here. But it's too quiet. Do you mean to say he's safe? No, it's too quiet. Never say that! Come on! You always seal your doom when you say things like that. Good grief.
Could it possibly be?
Master, excuse us about the door. Genji pulled a gold key out of his pocket. It was the only key to the study that existed, other than the one that Kinzo held. He stuck it in the keyhole and turned it heavily. At first glance, that seemed to prove that it was a sturdy lock. However, now that the barrier had been destroyed, this door might as well have been left open from the viewpoint of anyone with magical power. The heavy sound just now meant the door had now been opened even for humans. Excuse me. As Genji respectfully bowed his head, and Cannon's sense of tension grew tighter, and Shannon trembled, they entered the study. They immediately discovered Kinzo's figure. He was sitting on the reception sofa so that his back faced them. Genji noticed the person sitting across from him, and again bowed deeply. Cannon also noticed that person, but he didn't bow his head. He stood in front of Shannon and spread out his arms, blocking the way to her. So without even seeing that person's face, Shannon already had a good idea who it was. So, you have come, Beatrice-sama.
Genji, is it? You came very quickly. Yes, it is always best when furniture answers to their master's call quickly. Unlike this person.
So, Ronove-sama has come as well. Genji directed his greeting towards the thin darkness behind and to the right of Beatrice, where there shouldn't have been anything. Even Cannon and Shannon would never have imagined that someone was there. However, the darkness responded immediately and praised Genji's eyesight. As usual, you don't disappoint. It has been quite some time. Still, you've grown old, haven't you? Have so many years truly passed you by? My days have been full and satisfying. It appears you have been living quite as full life yourself, Runobe-sama. Yes, thank you. And Shannon, it has been a long time since I last saw you as well. You have grown quite beautiful. And it seems you have grown quite strong. That is fortunate.
Thank you very much. Nei-san, who in the world?
This will be our first meeting, Canon-kun. I, Ronobe, have been entrusted with the position of Beatrice-sama's head furniture. I am an old friend of Genji-san's, and I am also furniture, just like you. Although the master I serve is different. The tense color didn't disappear from Cannon's face in the slightest. Depending on the master furniture served, they might be kind or brutal or anything else. If this person claimed to be furniture serving the hated Beatrice, then he must be despicable as well.
It seems I'm thoroughly despised. It is as though you hate everything that has anything to do with me.
Beatrice openly sneered at Cannon's hate-filled face. Then Cannon finally realized. Beatrice and Kinzo were having a chess game across the reception table, but Kinzo hadn't even quivered. He was holding his head with both hands, his eyes closed tight, as he contemplated his next move. Or was he in anguish?
Master, I have told Kinzo two things. There was good news and bad news. The good news is that he'll have the good fortune of being reunited with me before the ceremony ends. The bad news is that Kinzo has been selected as the very first sacrifice in the ceremony. There's absolutely nothing I can do about it, because it truly was decided by the fickle roulette.
Liar. We know you're just a murderer who kills for fun.
Stop it, Canon-kun. So, Kinzo, isn't it about time you decided to accept your loss? With this, our long contest is at an end, yes?
At a glance, it was hard to make out the situation on that chaotic chessboard. However, judging by Kinzo's anguish and Beatrice's malicious confidence, it seemed to be over already. It is unavoidable. Perhaps even this could be amusing.
It is to me too. Resolving my contest with you may bring a flood of emotions, but it has already surpassed love and hate. It was fun. These past few decades certainly weren't boring.
Beatrice advanced her queen and made her final move, and that decided it.
Checkmate. This is my final tribute to you. Without any reservations. Sleep.
Kinzo suddenly stood up and laughed like an opera singer facing a full crowd and spreading his arms, as though he'd succeeded in a century-long plan.
I don't think you just got your first 4 emotes done and uploaded. I think that all the stuff is waiting for approval. Nice, nice. Yeah, emotes are tricky, honestly.
That laugh spat crimson. Crimson flames poured out from inside him, spitting even out of his mouth, ears, and nose, and all at once, his body was wrapped in hellfire.
Keisha made them for her. Okay, gotcha. Oh, that reminds me. Give me a second here. I have been remiss in giving you a shout out. So guys, check out Donna's channel. She's been playing Uncharted 4, A Thief's End. And I believe she's also been playing some, Horizon Forbidden West as well. A very positive streamer, so if you want someone to get you out of your doldrums, go check her out.
But Kinzo kept laughing. The more he laughed, the more hellfire spewed from his entire body and began to char him. Those flames became a brilliant light, which dazzlingly shone on the various magic tools throughout the room, making their distorted shadows dance across the walls. Those shadows looked like the dead in hell, watching over Kinzo in ecstasy as he burned. And, for one who had made a contract with the witch, it was an extremely fitting end, in accordance with those terms. After laughing and howling at the roaring flames for some time, Kinzo flopped to the ground as though he was a puppet whose strings had been cut. Those incredible blazing flames disappeared, as though he'd been completely burned up, and afterwards nothing remained but a festering and burnt corpse that one could hardly bear to look at.
Oh, horrible.
You should talk. As if you didn't think that was a fitting way for him to die.
Why have you shown yourself? Do you have some business with us?
Stop it, Canon-kun. You mustn't provoke Beatrice-sama.
It would seem you have them absolutely terrified.
I imagine I'll never get along with Canon. Hey, it's not as though I dislike you particularly.
Beatrice grinned. Canon violently averted his gaze, obviously unhappy. His reaction was so different from what he wanted to do that it made the witch and her butler laugh. Canon, you stand in the presence of Beatrice-sama. Carefully consider your manner of speech.
Oh, I care not, Genji. Let him say what he pleases. I am gracious.
How are you gracious?
I'm always gracious to those who are about to die.
Canon was taken aback by that creepy laughter. Beatrice wasn't here just to take Kinzo's life. The first twilight required 6 sacrifices. Kinzo alone wasn't nearly enough. And they just casually walked in here.
Fear not, Canon. It isn't as though you'll be selected as sacrifices just because you came here. After all, you were called here because you'd been selected already.
What?
Their instincts were good enough to spot her meaning instantly. 6 sacrifices were required for the first twilight. After Kinzo, how many more would you need to add up to 6? In this mansion, the number 5 instantly made them think of the number of servants here. Is that what you desire?
Indeed. Thank me, furniture. Tonight your days of suffering will finally end. You ought to thank me for coming here to tell you this.
Certainly, if that is your desire.
Genji-sama!
Genji had agreed to the witch's heartless announcement with his usual demeanor without raising an eyebrow. Now that the master is dead, Beatrice-sama is our master. Responding to her demands shall be our final duty. Shannon, Canon, you have done well serving until today. That hard work is now over. As I expected of you, Genji. As your fellow furniture, I'm proud to have known you. Shannon, do you have any objections?
No.
I heard that George-sama gave you a ring. Do you still say that you have no regrets?
Yes. That blessing was more than furniture deserves. Just receiving the ring has already satisfied my feelings.
Shannon couldn't take quite as much as a philosophical view as Genji. There probably were regrets left in her heart. She probably wanted to spend a little more warm time with the person she cared for, George. But she released herself from that. She took a single deep breath, and a blank expression rose to her face. Very well. It does surprise me a tad to find that you gained such composure, Shannon. It seems you too have taken a philosophical view as furniture.
Won't you at least shed some bitter tears for not being able to spend a night with the man you love? What a boring woman. This feeling cannot be understood by the likes of you, Beatrice-sama. If you desire our lives, please accept them. We will solemnly carry out that duty.
Very well. Excellently put. Just the type of person Beatrice-sama can't handle.
She's been taking such a far-sighted view of things lately. I must have tormented her too much last time. Speaking of which, didn't I do the same to Battler? Am I still soft? Or is the way I corner them lacking? In any case, she's just no fun. However, it seems you will still entertain me, right? Canon? Canon-kun.
Compared to the two who had taken a far-sighted approach, there was a painful anguish on Canon's face. Canon was still far too young to accept his demise after being told of it by a suddenly appearing witch.
Canon, I hate boredom more than anything, and the fact that the other two have obediently accepted their deaths isn't amusing at all. So I hope you don't betray my expectations.
Are you trying to make me your plaything?
Canon realized that he was being provoked. However, no matter how furiously anger spurred him on, his opponent was a witch. He was furniture. He hadn't a chance of victory from the beginning. But the witch was expecting that he'd struggle in vain and ride the round, and was even looking forward to it. Just thinking about that was frustrating enough to get his blood boiling. Was disappointing the witch by refusing to resist like the other two the only way he could strike back at her?
Eldest of the seven sisters of purgatory, Lucifer, arise. Lucifer of pride right here. Canon, it would be far too cruel to force furniture to fight a witch. No matter how much anger spurs you on, you would have no hope in the battle without a chance of success. Of course, such a battle would be boring for me as well. So let it be furniture against furniture. Why not resolve it with a battle between you two? That should be enough to allow you some hope for victory, right? Forgive me, Beatrice-sama, but how can I be inferior to this good-for-nothing furniture? As if this cutie would have any chance against me. Prove that you can defeat my furniture, the 7 stakes of purgatory. If you manage to win through... let us see. I will let you select the 5 who will escape becoming one of the 13 sacrifices. I will welcome the 5 you recommend into the Golden Land without any conditions. How about that?
Canon understood that he was being provoked. However, the witch's offer was very tempting. By this point, Canon couldn't care less about this evil ceremony the witch and the rest were trying to carry out. On the contrary, it was much more important that he remain alive so that he could be invited to the Golden Land and have his wish granted by Beatrice there.
You cried, saying you'd had enough of being furniture, right? I shall grant you your desire. I shall give you that human body you wanted so much you cried yourself to sleep. What do you say? That way you and Jessica could be together, yes? Ooh, just perfect. You may recommend that Jessica and yourself be invited to the Golden Land. If you alone finding happiness isn't a satisfying solution for you, then you can add in Shannon and George, the one she loves. If you're worried about duty, then you can also add Genji. Oh, that's 5 people. Isn't that enough, Canon? With this much of a reward. You won't let me get bored, will you? She's just playing with you. There's no need to listen to her.
I don't like it. Are you okay with this, Nei-san?
Beatrice couldn't hide her evil smile at those words.
I don't like it. I want to be happy. I've had enough of being furniture. I want to become human and have normal love. I want to know that the ocean is blue like you.
How young. I'm jealous.
That's why I like the young ones. Genji, Shannon, stay back. Canon, Lucifer, forward. As you command. I don't like it. That way you look down on me, as if Beatrice-sama would be impossible, but with me, at least you have a chance. I really don't like it.
That was probably humiliating for Lucifer, but at the same time, she was also happy that she was lucky enough to have this adorable prey all to herself.
Come, furniture of the witch. Don't think you can look down on me forever.
So, Battler, isn't this a fun show?
Damn it. Another weird thing's happening. Like I never believe in a magic battle.
Look, don't turn your eyes away, look at it! Look! It's magic, it's furniture! No matter how much you try to deny me in magic. Look! If you got all this happening right in front of you, it'd be a waste to miss it, don't you think? Look! Just stop thinking. Magic exists. This is fantasy. Don't close your eyes. Look closely. Look!
Damn it!
That's not normal. Beatrice isn't normal.
I won't accept witches. I won't accept magic. If it's being done right in the open like that, what am I supposed to say? Damn it!
Come now, don't turn away. Look closely, okay? Magic exists. This is fantasy, so stop playing detective. I know your secret. You actually don't really like to think things through, right? Then just stop. Look, it's gotta be fantasy.
Shut up! Don't talk to me!
This guy's getting stubborn. Won't you apologize and crawl on the ground right now for being so conceited that you thought you could beat me? If you did, I wouldn't mind forgiving you, okay? And Rocky2095, thank you for joining. I was a bit in character to actually properly respond to you earlier, so yeah, glad to have you here. Hope you're doing well. How are you? Then you wouldn't have to have your skin ripped off while you're still alive. Or get lashed all over your body as you squirm until you die. You're a cutie, so apologize. If you do, I'll finish you off so gently, while it still feels great.
Be silent, furniture of the witch. I have no intention of speaking with you.
So you're saying you think nothing of me? Well, that's the way to piss off Lucifer, Pride. That disrespectful gaze of yours is really ticking me off! I'm good, how are you? Do you know that in ancient Egypt, black cats were known for keeping evil spirits away? Huh, fascinating. And meanwhile, in the US, people think they bring evil spirits, more or less. Funny how times change. Canon-kun. Isn't he stronger than he was against Satan?
This is why humans are so frightening.
In fact, sometimes I even become witches and treat demons as butlers. So which should I cheer on?
you saying this guy's on par with me? Don't look down on me. As long as you have that pride, you'll never defeat me. You speak of Lucifer, the eldest of the seven sisters of purgatory, and say that I cannot win? How conceited!
Ganon was desperately trying to stay alive, and he had a strong desire to become human, but Lucifer didn't feel anything stronger than a slight desire to play, so that led to an inevitable result. It was a result that could be reached by the power of humans, the power of the heart.
That's as far as you go. You cannot win against me.
The glowing red curve extended straight out from Ganon's arm, pointing at Lucifer's throat just beneath the tip of her chin.
But what is this? How could I? There must be some mistake.
As she ground her teeth in irritation, she tried to deny the truth right before her eyes. But no matter how much she believed in her own superiority, it didn't change the facts right in front of her. Oh, well done, Ganon. Wonderful, you haven't bored me. How pitiful my furniture is compared to that. Lucifer, you are boring, milady. Was this opponent really too much for you to handle? I'm disappointed, eldest of the seven stakes. Yeah. Hoping to move to the U.S. in the future and become a U.S. citizen. After I become a U.S. citizen, does that make me an American because they want to be an American? Yeah, that usually is how it works. If you become a U.S. citizen, you're American, so. Although it's supposed to become a citizen of some other, I mean, you could be like South American or Central American, but most people when they think of American, they think of the United States of America, but that's neither here nor there. Yeah. But yes, generally becoming a U.S. citizen, that's how it works. It would have seemed like mere rebuke to an outsider. However, furniture serving the witch knew what kind of severe treatment was promised by their rebuke, and understood what had been left unsaid.
Ah, you good-for-nothing furniture!
She howled. Abandoning her last bit of pride, she made her body explode, exposing her true form. That form was a demon stake, which bounced off the walls surrounding the room.
How could you shame me so much? Kill, 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 kill! You blockhead! Even though you can't even follow my movements anymore, I won't play around anymore. I'm seriously mad and I'll pierce your heart in one blow! I'll plow right through you, make a fountain of bright red blood reach the ceiling! Die! Ganon-kun!
I think I came across as a little bit more Edward Elric than I intended there. After flying about wildly for some time, with a speed approaching the limits of what a human eye could follow, Lucifer flew at Ganon's heart. She could tell that it was Ganon's blood by the sweet taste of it, but she quickly noticed one thing. She hadn't pierced his heart. Oh? Alright, give me just a moment. Something came up. I gotta take this real quick. Okay, sorry. Currently live in Canada, but you feel there's more for you in the U.S. Yeah, I can't say I've heard great things coming from up there as of lately. So, So I do not blame you in the slightest for wanting to move. Alright, where was I? Here we go. This is why humans are frightening. Okay, hold up. This may be back and forth for just a bit. Would you like some black tea? I am fine for now. This is so amusing, I don't even need any. Canon-kun.
You're arrogant again. I told you that you wouldn't be able to defeat me.
The floor was stained with dripping blood. It really was Canon's blood, but it wasn't flowing out of his chest. Canon had sacrificed his own left hand to protect his heart. Lucifer was arrogant, even though she'd been given enough time to realize that this was an opponent capable of cornering her. In her pride, she had believed him to be worthless. She had gotten careless. So just as she had announced, she had aimed for his chest, trying to pierce his heart. Because she was arrogant, she hadn't even thought of aiming for somewhere other than the place she had announced. No, maybe she had thought about it a little. However, her pride would not allow her to aim for a different spot. After all, she was Lucifer of Pride. Canon, withstanding the pain, grasped the demon's stake, sticking deep into his left hand, strongly with his right hand, and pulled it out. When she heard the sound of breaking bones and even more blood dripping down, Shannon looked away reflexively. There was an air hole in the back of the pierced hand so big you could clearly see through to the other side. Real quick, guys, in the chat, there is a link to my Discord if you would like to become an apprentice. You can join there. You can keep up to date on what it is I am streaming, what I'm planning to stream, and it also has links to my YouTube channel, which also I've got a link to in the chat if you'd like to catch up on anything that you've missed, which is especially good for this series here, because starting in episode 3, if you are coming here for the first time, good to get that context. The origin of my Twitch name. That is an interesting question. So what happened was that I was playing Pathfinder with some friends, and I was trying to make a half-elf sorcerer as a character, and I was trying to think of a name to play off of the idea of Doctor Strange. Well, so I looked up in a thesaurus what other words for strange were, and one of the words that came up was novel, so I just changed the spelling slightly, and that's how I came up with Dr. Novelle. And then I just ended up applying the name to my Twitch channel because there's nobody else here named Dr. Novelle, so it works. Plus, I'd already been known as the Doctor on a number of platforms, but that's hardly a unique name at this point, so. Alright, where was I? There we go. Canon's face was filled with pain, but right now, he had won without a doubt. The demon stake he was gripping with his right hand turned back into Lucifer again, so that Canon was now gripping exactly where her neck was.
It's my victory, Beatrice!
Canon didn't hold back at all with the hand gripping Lucifer's throat. She had challenged him again after their fight had already been decided. Canon had no obligation to be considerate. But even so, Canon released the witch's furniture. Was it his naive humanism, his pity for another furniture, or a final bit of respect to the witch? In any case, when she was released, Lucifer fell face down on the ground, retching and moaning over the pain in her throat. Spectacular, Canon. Your great efforts have proven the correctness of some of Kinzo's research. Ronove was clapping his hands. To Canon, who had won at great cost and had a wound on his left hand that wouldn't close, Ronove's applause only felt like mockery. All possibilities dwell within the human heart, was it? My, this is why humans are frightening. Well done, Canon. You were victorious. Spectacular!
Are you okay, Canon-kun?
Shannon ran up to him and wrapped a handkerchief around his left hand, which was still spraying blood. That was incredible, Canon. Truly incredible. Even I was hoping at least a little for an upset. That you didn't let me down makes you truly splendid furniture. I think better of you now. I honestly think better of you.
You haven't forgotten our promise, right? Beatrice?
The doctor is from Doctor Who. You watch Doctor Who? Used to. Then it got really dumb around the time Chris Chibnall took over the writing. And, yeah. I don't know. I'm hoping now that Russell T. Davies is going to be back in the driver's seat, things will be different, but I'm not hopeful. Well, okay, let me rephrase that. I'm hoping for it. I'm not betting on it. There we go.
Yeah, you haven't forgotten our promise, right, Beatrice?
Indeed. Of course I haven't forgotten. Witches and demons may be inhumane. However, we are much more noble than humans when it comes to keeping promises. I will not go back on my word. I guaranteed that if you won, I would give you the right to decide the 5 people who escaped becoming the 13 sacrifices.
Beatrice-sama, it's not like I've
When Beatrice waved her pipe, heaven and earth turned over just for Lucifer. So as a horribly natural result, she fell onto the ceiling. The ceiling doesn't seem that high to people standing on the floor. However, people who fall on it upside down and head first usually don't agree. If she's a witch, you would put water on her right away. Well, what you need is to find yourself a duck and see if Beatrice weighs less than a duck. Because that's the whole point, is that you're trying to find out whether she's actually a witch. It would seem that she is, but with all these displays of magic power. However, there might be a little bit more to it than that, which will be explained later on in this episode, although maybe not in this installment of this episode. Milady, isn't that a little much? Perhaps you're right. I suppose I'll forgive her. Beatrice waved her pipe again. When she did, the magic that had been affecting Lucifer was released. So as a horribly natural result, this time she fell properly back onto the floor. The Titanic episode was your first? Oh, okay. Yeah, that was the one where the Titanic crashed in the TARDIS. Okay, yeah. Unless there's another one since then that I've forgotten about.
Beatrice-sama, forgive me.
What are you so afraid of? I have already forgiven you, haven't I? So, Canon, shall we continue?
Continue what? You aren't saying you want me to finish her, are you?
Oh, no. It isn't over yet, right?
What isn't? Stop dodging the question.
I did promise to you your reward, didn't I? If you could defeat my furniture, the 7 stakes of purgatory, right? Come, arise, the 7 stakes of purgatory! The 6 younger sisters of the worthless elder sister! The air split with shrill laughter, and as a golden splash scattered about, the remaining 6 Sisters of Purgatory showed themselves. All the seven Sisters of Purgatory were here, after Canon was able to defeat one only by sacrificing his left arm. By now, Canon regretted his thoughtlessness in accepting the witch's challenge. He had been foolish to assume that a game against a witch would be on an even footing.
Lame. One-sama, why are you crawling on the floor? You people. I told you, One-sama's useless. Even though she acts like she's so great just because she's the oldest, that's only on the outside. Yeah, seriously. Lucifer One-sama, your disgraceful behavior will damage the reputation of us all. Know your shame, you novice. Canon-kun, that was totally awesome! But don't get cocky, okay? Lucifer One-sama brags all the time, but she's no big deal compared to the rest of us sisters. That's why I'm always asking Lucifer One shouldn't do anything, or saying Lucifer One shouldn't do anything. Ah, Voyage of the Damned, that's right, I remember now. That was the Titanic episode of Doctor Who. Just let her keep bragging all the time. After all, those with us with talent can handle all the tough jobs. What are you gonna do, One-sama? Out of respect for your pride, we were planning to stay out of your way in the hopes that you challenge him again in that beat-up body of yours. But Canon-kun sure is strong, right? Right now, no matter how much you struggle, there's no way you could win, right? And thank you for redeeming first, Rocky. Appreciate it. You people! My, you sisters are always so lively. Is this any time to fight amongst yourselves? It is only together that you're the 7 stakes of Purgatory, correct? Now play nice and execute the tasks I give you. And swiftly, okay? Hey, Lucifer One-sama. If you want to borrow the power of your little sisters, then say it, okay? We want to hear you ask us for your help with help. Ask us for help with your own mouth. Tenet is best, Doctor. I personally prefer 11th, hence the profile picture, which is like a paintingified version of me in the 11th Doctor's costume, actually. But do you plan to mock me even more? I, the foolish, weak, ugly, and shameful Lucifer, the eldest sister, beg my younger sisters to save me. Come on, let's hear it. If you let us hear that, we'll save you. That's a deal, right? Everyone? You bitch! The 7 Sisters of Purgatory unanimously closed in on their worthless sister, abusing her. Even Canon, who had been fighting for his life until a second ago, couldn't bear to look at it. As if I could say something like that. Quickly now. Clearly we won't make any progress here with you alone. Hurry up, let the 7 sisters strike Canon.
My, what is the matter, Lucifer? This is an order from a lady, is it not?
Tenet is your favorite who think is in Harry Potter. Yes, and he was utterly wasted in that role because he did not have enough screen time. How cruel.
After grinding her teeth over and over after hearing her sister's curses, Lucifer trembled all over and answered her sister's request.
The foolish, weak, ugly, and shameful, Lucifer, the eldest sister, Peg.
Okay, this is the one thing I hate having to voice is females crying, because that's hard enough for me to do with guys, unless I'm like really feeling it. And yeah, which is not to say that I can't do it. I think I actually do a pretty good job when I've got someone who has legitimate reason to cry, but this is not exactly my wheelhouse. Anyway. The girl known as Pride was finally unable to endure the words she was saying. Let me guess, the 7 sisters are named after the 7 deadly sins. Yes, exactly. So, Lucifer of pride, Satan of wrath, Beelzebub of gluttony, Asmodeus of lust, Mammon of greed, Leviathan of envy, Belphegor of sloth. I think that's all of them. I may have miscounted, though. If I missed any, let me know. The girl the girl known as Pride was finally unable to endure the words she was saying and broke down crying. However, the 6 younger sisters kept giggling cold-heartedly.
Wait a sec. Don't try to trick us by crying. You haven't finished saying it.
That should be enough. Come, sisters, let us display our power.
I won't be satisfied till I hear the whole thing, okay? Come on, One-sama, keep going.
That's enough.
Come on, the shame affects us all. We won't let him leave here alive. Okay, how should we play with this pitiful furniture? Any wonderful plans? Yes! Belza thinks the 7 of us should get along and split Ganon up between us.
Good idea. That way all the sisters can get along.
Then I'll take the head. I'll leave the limbs and guts to you all. No! I get the head! There's no way that promise will mean anything, right? First one there wins. Ganon-kun, if you got any ideas for how we should kill you, just tell us, okay? The 7 sisters will kill you in an awesome way.
Damn.
You shame me so deeply. Slicing you to 8 pieces won't be enough. I'll slice you into 100 pieces. Here we go, everyone. Yes, One-sama.
Okay, hold up. As much as I hate to take a break during this particular tense scene, I think now might be a good time for one. So, because I've got something I've got to take care of, I'll be just a few minutes. So I'll be right back to the screen just a little bit early. Oh, wait, cancel. There we go. I have played Ratchet and Clank, to answer your question, Rocky. And to answer your question, Donna, it is about a cat-like alien with a wrench who finds like this robot, and he's trying to, like, the first game is basically about him trying to stop this guy, Chairman Drek, from blowing up his planet. And so there's been quite a number of sequels. It's a platforming game, one of my favorites, actually. And I had streamed the Ratchet & Clank Rift Apart a few months ago, which is the... what's the word I'm looking for? You can find that one on my YouTube channel, and a link below here. Yeah, and Rift Apart is the latest game of the series. It was on the PS5. Sadly, the original games are currently confined to PlayStation 2 and 3. They made a remake of the first game, but it changes a lot of the story. The remake is absolutely 100% worth playing, and in some ways it is a lot more fun than the original, just because the original hasn't aged as well as some of the others. I mean, it's not bad if it's the first one you're playing, but if you try to go back to it after playing the others, it is a little bit different. Anyway, where was I? All right. The seven of them burst at once. They had no intention of playing or boasting. This time, they would genuinely follow their master's order. Take cannon down, swiftly. Ratchet is a Lombax. Yes, that was what I meant by cat-like alien creature. I use that for the sake of simplicity, because if you don't know what Ratchet and Clank is, you also don't know what a Lombax is. So... Alright, one more moment here. Okay. Finished Ratchet and Clank on PS3, PS4, and PS5. Yeah. Yeah, the PS3 has the Ratchet... excuse me. The Ratchet and Clank HD collection, which has the first 3 Ratchet and Clank games. It also has Ratchet Deadlocked, which at a while back you could actually purchase that through the PlayStation Store. I don't know if you still can. Ratchet and Clank Size Matters and Secret Agent Clank were strictly PSP and PS2 games. As a result, they are not the greatest of the series. I mean, they're worth playing through at least once, but you know, they're not my favorite. Although I did enjoy Secret Agent Clank enough, I suppose. There was one other that I liked. Okay. Yeah. Then it came to PS3 with Tools of Destruction. Then Quest for Booty, which was really kind of not necessary. A Crack in Time is still my favorite to this day. Then came All for One, which was eh. Then came Full Frontal Assault, which is not terrible if you like tower defense games. And then there was Into Nexus, which was a lot better, but short. And then finally, the latest game is Rift Apart, which was actually really good, but also somewhere in between to the Nexus and A Crack in Time in terms of length. Anyway. The seven sisters jumped around the room faster than the eye could see, examining how they could best kill Cannon. They tortured Cannon with their cruel giggles, sometimes making a close pass at him. They kept scraping his arms, shoulders, and cheeks, gradually carving red letters into his body. At that moment, Shannon dashed up behind him, holding onto him so that she blocked the way to his body at least a little. Huh? At the same time, a red cylinder wrapped around the two of them like a beam of light sent from heaven. That's it work I can do too? I'm confused. What you mean by that? That cylinder repelled the evil ones who tormented Cannon.
What? You're mean! That has nothing to do with you!
Ah, I see. You must want to play with us.
Then I'll take it! All mine! Beatrice-sama, can we take Shannon as our prey?
Oh, I don't mind, as you like. It seems Cannon alone won't be enough to satisfy your gluttony.
You have our deepest gratitude. Come on, I'll make you regret coming out uninvited.
I'll turn you into scraps of meat so unrecognizable you won't be able to tell which is which. Mix you and mince you into hamburgers.
Idiot, breaking that barrier should come first, right? Don't let your gluttony get in the way of your job.
You wanted to see if you made the YouTube thing pop up. Gotcha.
Yes, One-sama.
As a horribly natural first action, the Seven Sisters began to destroy the barrier Shannon had created. Shannon's barrier certainly was strong. It was powerful enough to impress even Beatrice. With its strength, frail furniture would turn to dust just by touching it, and it was firm, like a tree with deep roots. But no matter how big a tree gets, it will eventually surrender to a saw or a hatchet. For the Seven Sisters, chopping down Shannon's barrier would be annoying, but not impossible. A sound like beetles jumping about grew even fiercer and filled the room. The red barrier began to be cut up and eroded away as though with a hatchet, a chainsaw by now. How foolish. Even though you must know that your barrier can't fully protect you from these girls. Why?
Because I couldn't overlook it.
As Shannon covered Cannon, who was already at his limits, sprawled on the floor, she spoke back resolutely.
If you hadn't barged in uninvited, I would have given you a death-like sleep. Why have you gone to all the trouble of exposing yourself before the Seven Sisters? Not all deaths are the same. A cruel death will cause you far more anguish than merely dying. Go ahead, do as you like. Just as you always do what you want, I did what I wanted. At any rate, you're not quite amusing at the present moment. Romance is most interesting when you're wondering whether it will succeed or not. Once it does succeed, a woman is like salmon who has finished laying its eggs. I have already tired of you. Thank you. No words from a witch would make me happier. Then at least in the end, let me see you die in a truly entertaining manner. Seven Sisters, can you hear me? Kill Shannon in a way that shows me the limits of brutality.
Sharon.
My apologies. In the end, I wasn't able to reach your level, Genji-sama. You're an idiot, Ne-san. If you just let me be, then you might not have had to meet a horrible end. No, it's fine. I received a ring from George-sama and lived as a woman. I have protected you and lived as a sister. With this, my life is complete, with no regrets. You're pissing me off! That philosophical take really is irritating. Like I said, you're furniture. You don't even smell like a human. Look at me. I am human. Don't spout off philosophical crap like you're more complete than I am, you furniture! How ugly. Are those regrets what you truly are? They aren't regrets! This is called living! What's this about if not minding if you die just because you were given a ring? I can't understand it. It's incomprehensible, disappointing, outrageous, stunning, and it's all useless!
Milady, perhaps you're acting a tad undignified.
Shut up, furniture! Shannon, do you think I'll let you die so easily? Now's the time to bite your tongue. How pitiful. If you can see yourself reflected in my eyes, then shudder at your own ugliness.
That's a powerful line right there.
Fear not. Once I've crushed you up, you'll be much more ugly even while you still live.
At that time, Genji softly entered the red barrier. Who's your favorite Ratchet and Clank villain? My favorite is Dr. Nefarious. It was Chairman Drek up until a crack in time, then it became Dr. Nefarious. I didn't really like Dr. Nefarious in Up Your Arsenal. Okay, where was I? At that time, Genji softly entered the red barrier. Perhaps that barrier didn't block those without ill intent. Then, Genji gently held her from behind and covered her eyes with his right hand.
Genji-sama.
You've already done enough. Go to sleep before me.
Yes. Thank you very much, Genji-sama.
Indeed. After that, Genji softly pressed his left hand near her collarbone. As he did, emanating from that area, a crimson stain gently spread out. When Genji removed his hand, bright red fresh blood oozed out of there. It had only happened for the first instant, and it was shaped like a crimson rose. And when he removed his right hand covering her face, there was a peaceful expression there, as though she was sleeping. And she fell softly, silently, and slept. Her soul had already been sent to a world where the malicious witch and her furniture could not reach her, no matter how evilly they tortured her. This scene left Beatrice and the Seven Sisters stunned. Only Ronove wore a mysterious smile. Then Genji leaned over Kanon, who was crouching on the floor. You did well. You should sleep now too.
Yes. Thank you very much, Genji-sama.
Just as he had done with Shannon, he softly covered Kanon's eyes with his hand, then gently pressed the area around Kanon's collarbone with his other hand, and when his hand was removed, with the lightness of a feather, there was a crimson rose there. Do you know Dr. Nefarious' Ratchet and Clank's arch nemesis? Dude, like, I've played the entire series from start to finish. Like, the only one that I haven't actually... Well, okay. The only two I haven't finished is All for One, because that one sucked, and Full Frontal Assault, because I kind of got distracted with that one. Okay, where was I? But that rose shape quickly turned into the stain of bright red blood pouring out.
What is that?
Ratchet and Clank Up Your Arsenal was my first Ratchet and Clank game. Ah, very good. Now, that's a good one. My personal favorite from that area was Going Commando.
What a boring person. Even though it's so fun to poke the balloon of life with a needle so that it forcefully explodes.
Spectacular, Genji. You truly are furniture. Thank you very much. Well then, Beatrice-sama, Ronobe-sama. This is my final task. Allow me to rest.
Damn you, snatching away my fun. Why don't I take all the thrashing and mashing I wanted to do to them and give it to you instead?
Beatrice faced him with an unsatisfied expression, but Ronobe spoke quietly to Genji with a soothing smile. You have worked hard. You are my greatest servant. As a final gift, I shall bestow upon you a peaceful sleep, fitting for all the labors you have performed.
What? Wait, it's not your place to...
When Ronobe snapped his fingers, Genji slumped to the floor like a puppet with its strings cut. Suddenly, and yet gently, he crumpled, falling into a sleep that no witch could call him back from. It was as filled with kindness as the sleep he had given Shannon and Cannon.
What was that, Ronobe? What a boring anticlimax. Do that witch think of me and you as furniture too? No, we're humans. Furniture, the ones she thinks of as furniture are basically those who are fitting of a specific criteria, which these characters fit. Which you and I, or at least I know I do not. I'm pretty sure most of the people in the chat do not either.
Are you not a mighty great witch, milady? What happened here is hardly worthy of your concern. It isn't like you to let the provocation of someone like Shannon get to you. What was it that had Beatrice so irritated? Was she still unable to remove the thorn of Shannon's words? Ronobe laughed lightly, as though lamenting the complexity of humanity and a woman's heart, and ordered the seven sisters to go. After all, there were still 2 sacrifices left for the first twilight. The seven sisters disappeared in ecstasy.
Okay, I already took my mid-chapter break earlier, so we're just gonna go right through here. Does he get tired of holding his hand like that? Dude, it's like just for the imagery. I have no idea. Basically, the simple fact of the matter is that the artist didn't feel like drawing more than one pose. So,
Goda was doing the nighttime rounds. Rokkenjima had always been empty except for the Ushiromiya family household, so checking that the doors and windows were all closed had no real purpose. However, ever since the time Natsuhi had condemned such an attitude as being careless, the nighttime rounds had become part of the servants' daily routine. In the first place, Natsuhi had ordered this because of the occasional witch disturbances. Everyone who came and left this island knew about the legend of Beatrice, the Witch of the Forest, and had become established as this island's characteristic ghost story. Because of that, it was only natural that some people would claim that when they thought they were alone in the mansion, they would hear a strange sound or see the shadow of a person. However, when that created a little too much of a disturbance and reached Natsuhi's ears, she made a fuss, thinking that some suspicious person might have been entering and leaving. Apparently, she had roused all the servants and had them check throughout the mansion. Because all of that panic over the witch had happened before Goda's arrival, he had only heard about it from the more senior servants. Ghost stories like that could be found in any workplace. Even at the hotels and restaurants Goda had worked at, there had been plenty of them. So when he heard about that story on this island, he'd given a forced smile, thinking,
Ah, so they have that kind of thing here after all.
that forced smile aside, he had figured that when in Rome, do as the Romans do, and had taken it seriously. Goda went along with it on the outside, but in his heart he'd assumed it to be a childish trick. At first, that is.
This certainly is eerie. Yes, I can see why it was so easy for past servants to get into a panic.
You can understand how someone doing the rounds on an eerie night like this might believe they'd seen a ghost if they saw a lace curtain waving in the breeze from a window that hadn't been closed.
So if you make fun of the witch of the portrait, there was a curse. It seems there was even a servant who received a serious injury and quit. Well, I wouldn't want that. Think at my age. I probably wouldn't be granted a workplace this hospitable again. Witch of the portrait, I'm working sincerely, so please give me some peace.
Goda prayed to the portrait, his hands together, as though he was at a Shinto shrine. At that time, he thought he heard a sound. And you see, this is the problem. He prayed for peace, and now the witch is about to give him his eternal peace. You have to go. All right, well, thank you for being here, Rocky. I really do appreciate you showing up. I hope you have a good rest of your evening. I'll see you later. The kitchen? Was that the sound of something metal falling on the floor? Maybe a mouse or a cockroach had come out and knocked over some of the dishes. No, how could that be? It was usually cleaned thoroughly. Thinking he'd check out what that noise had really been, Goda entered the kitchen. He turned on the kitchen light. When he did, he heard a strange sound. Clink, 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 clink. To a cook like Goda, the sound felt like the lid on a pressure cooker or something shaking. Surely there wouldn't be a pot on the burner when no one was in the kitchen. Even if someone was using the gas, walking away from it would be quite dangerous. Just in case, Goda decided to inspect the area around the gas range.
What is this?
When he did, in the corner with the gas range, the pressure cooker really had been set out, just as he'd thought. But the flame wasn't on, and yet the lid was clanking. Was something fermenting and leaking gas? How could that be? Then was there a mouse or something inside? How could there be? Ridiculous. When people were watching, Goda acted as though he had a bold personality, fitting for his build, but he actually had an unexpectedly timid side to him. He was frightened that there might be something inside, and he couldn't bring himself to check it carelessly. In his cowardness, he grabbed a nearby wooden pestle, and with a clunk, tapped it a little forcefully against the side of the pressure cooker. When he did, the clanking sound suddenly stopped. He should have been relieved that it had stopped, but the fact that it had stopped when he'd hit it was even more eerie, and made him even more suspicious about what was inside.
Mysterious phenomena do not exist in this world. Yes, witches and magic, things like that couldn't possibly exist. All phenomena can be explained with science, as if monsters and witches could exist.
He repeated that many times, trying to build up his own confidence. The gap between what he was saying and what he was doing was quite comical.
Who would believe in a witch? Who would believe in magic or curses? Come on, show me what you really are! Take that!
He removed the lid of the pressure cooker, and lying exposed there was the sparkling clean silver bottom of the pot. There was absolutely nothing frightening like he'd imagined.
It's only natural. There's no way there could have been anything inside.
By now, Goda realized that he had been a coward. So while he still had some doubts as to what caused the lid to make that sound, he figured it wasn't a big problem and decided not to worry about it too much. Then he took the lid he'd grabbed and softly set it back down where it had been. It's fine. It won't make a sound. Of course it won't. As if witches or magic could exist. Huh? All the pots and dishes in the kitchen started clanking at once. It grew even stronger, so that finally one of the lid to one of the pots fell off, and from inside that pot, a slender white arm reached out. Lids fell off the other pots, one after another, and another, and another.
As if witches could exist! As if I'd believe it!
When the number of arms grew to 7, a loud, shrill laughter split the air.
What a letdown. Too bad that someone who can make such delicious food is such a lightweight. If you don't want him, I'll take him. He's all mine. Wait, I said no! I'll take him!
Huh? What? Ah!
Come on, let's search. There's only one more. That old hag. Where is she? She isn't in the mansion. What about the guest house? First one wins. First one wins, right? Come on, search, find her, find her. Don't be noticed by the relatives in the dining hall, right? And don't get noticed by the kids in the guest house, right? Search in silence, kill in silence. After all, it's just the first twilight. She isn't in the guest house, but she wasn't in the mansion either, right? Hey, I found her. She's in the rose garden. Why is she standing there without an umbrella? She's already given up. All mine, all mine, all mine. You blockheads can just sit there and watch. I told you, no, this one's mine. Come on, if we take any longer, we'll be scolded by Beatrice-sama. Let's take care of it all at once. There, found her, surrounded her. Come on, let's get along and do it all at once, okay? Die!
Huh? What? What is this?
What naughty girls. You wouldn't happen to be friends of that child, would you?
Just, what is this old hag? There's gotta be some mistake. One more time. Why can she defend against us? Move aside! One more time!
No matter how often you try, it won't work. This person is good. I am waiting for that child. Would you mind calling for her?
Do you really expect us to run errands for you like that?
There's no need.
Beatrice-sama!
After all, even I have manifested by now. I was certain that you had awakened. Novelle, it's been a long time. Yes, truly a long time.
This person's talking to Novelle-sama without using sama?
And it's been a long time since I've seen you too, Beatrice.
She's not even using sama for Beatrice-sama.
Enough. Don't you know who this is? The name Beatrice itself is hers. I only inherited it from her. This is my teacher, the previous Lady Beatrice. The previous Lady Beatrice. Gold butterflies appeared in ones and twos from the Garden of Roses and began to gather around Kumasawa. Then, after she was wrapped in a golden sparkle, she burst and disappeared, and Kumasawa's form was no longer there. One moment. Instead, there was another golden witch, the one who once taught the path of an endless witch to Beatrice, and the only person Beatrice ever called teacher. Her hair was long, beautiful, and vividly youthful. Hey, Christonium, thank you for joining. Glad you're here. How's it going? And guys, give me just a moment here. We're gonna give Christonium a shout out. If I can remember how to spell it. There we go. Alright, so, oh, no, I misspelled it. Alright. Let me try this again. Okay, he's been playing Monster Hunter Rise on his channel, so go check him out. Let's see. Late day at work. My day at work was usual. There's been a lot of stuff in the background that's been kind of annoying, which is why I'm streaming Umineko on Thursday instead of Wednesday, because normally I do my visual novel streaming on Wednesdays, but yeah. You've been playing Monster Hunter Rise off and on. It's a fun one. Good to hear. Good to hear. I mean, I've heard good things about it. The last one I played was World, which was easily my favorite, but yeah. And eventually I'd like to try Rise out. It's not a high priority for me. Mostly because I still haven't actually played through the Iceborne DLC for the original. The DLC Sunbreak just released last week. Good to hear. Yeah. Where was I? What's going on here? Her hair was long, beautiful, and vividly youthful, and her figure in that elegant dress couldn't possibly have been mistaken for an old lady. No, this looked like a completely different person from Kumasawa. Well, teacher. I had never even dreamed that we would meet each other again. Yes, neither did I. I certainly never dreamed that my sleep would be disturbed. Such a troublesome time for you to awaken. If you remained asleep as usual, the first twilight could have ended without much trouble. Or perhaps I should be glad you're here. I was just getting a tad bored. As usual, it seems you're toying with senseless people in a vulgar game. Sunbreak is to Monster Hunter Rise as Frozen Wilds was to Zero Dawn. Yes, it was. I believe I taught you several times that the power of the Endless Witch mustn't be used to cause people trouble. Don't say that, teacher. Isn't boredom our natural enemy? This is just a little spice to escape from that. The more corrosion advances, the stronger my power becomes, and the easier it becomes to summon my minions. But who would have thought that it would release the seal on you, teacher, at the same time? It is precisely because I predicted such a thing would happen that I slept so very close to where you were. Though I prayed in my sleep that I would not be woken again. Being reunited with you like this is a very sad thing for me. You're as cunning as always, teacher. Ronave, have that young furniture step back. Furniture only serves its master. The master is responsible for all her crimes. Certainly, Madame Beatrice. I have already passed that name on to this child. Come now, step back. Furniture girls. I may give warnings a second time if you did not listen to the first. However, do not expect to receive a third. Yeah, so though Sunbreak is like half the game, it was just a tad cheaper than the actual game. Honestly, Sunbreak might have more than the base game just because of the Master Rank tiers added. Nice. Step back, Seven Sisters of Purgatory. If you get dragged into this, only dust will remain. Back, everyone! Ronave and the Seven Sisters of Purgatory retreated. After that, what remained was the Beatrice whose daring expression didn't falter, and the teacher Beatrice who had given up that name and wore a composed smile.
Well then, teacher, what tea shall I prepare for a long-awaited reunion? Let's see. This reunion was longer in coming than the visit of a comet. Perhaps I will accept your hospitality. And if it seems a mistake has been made, I'll have you return my name and the title of Endless Witch. So even the title of Endless Witch has a license renewal policy? As you wish, teacher. Gonna lurk while you make dinner. Alright, well enjoy your lurk and enjoy your dinner too. Thank you for joining. See how splendid your disciple has become, and see how far she surpassed you so long ago.
The air between the two Beatrices seemed to explode with sparks. Just by glaring at each other, they purged all spirits from that space. As they watched, the seven sisters shivered. After all, if they had retreated just 3 steps less than they had, they would have already been turned to dust by now.
So, come, Beatrice. Surrendering my name to you is the only regret I have in life. I will now correct that error by my own hands. You've got it wrong, teacher. My only error was becoming your disciple in the hopes of gaining such a puny level of power. Get it? What are you calling magic? What are you calling the Endless Witch? All you've got is a power that can be gained just by noticing, right? And you act as if that's so great and impressive. Your turn's long over, teacher!
I don't have a clue what's going on anymore. What the world's happening right in front of my eyes?
Oh, you poor thing. It seems my disciple is causing you trouble. I apologize.
Who the heck are you? Why don't Kumasawa turn into a Neichan like this? I mean, seriously, who are you? I don't get it. What kind of special effects are these? My head feels like it's gonna explode.
I am the witch teacher of that child. My old name was Beatrice. When that child succeeded me, I gave up that name, so I have no name of my own.
Like you've already said, your disciple's been a real pain to me. Please take responsibility and do something. No, wait. I don't believe in stuff like this. As if witches and magic could exist. I won't accept this messed up battle. Damn it, what should I believe?
Oh, that's just like you, hospitality with a very quick temper.
I'd expect nothing less from you, teacher. It seems this is so trivial to you, you don't even feel like opening your eyes. But I doubt you'll be able to win unless you're prepared to wreck this whole island, see? Come, arise, shoulder war towers! In response to Beatrice's summons, a terrific earth tremor split the rose garden, and on either side of her shoulders, 2 massive war towers sprouted and stabbed into the heavens. They stretched up to 100 merut tall, and each had over 360 ports. What is a merut? We're gonna find out. Let's see. Grimoire merut. This word is probably related to a fictional unit of length from Nausicaa of the Valley of the Wind, which seems to be about 1 meter long. Okay.
Each had over 360 ports. They were war towers of the God's Army Corps, which had prevented even groups of ancient heroes from invading their sacred grounds. As Beatrice elegantly floated in the gap between the massive two-headed towers, she looked down on her teacher, sneering with a sense of absolute superiority. With the two massive towers lined up behind her shoulders, the witch looked very small, like a butterfly dancing between huge trees.
Don't think you can dodge it by turning into butterflies, okay? The density of the Twin Towers barrage wouldn't just make you pinned a bug sample, it'd make you a madly stabbed pincushion, right?
Over 720 ports open on the towers, and godly soldiers readied their multi-shot ballistas.
Is that the end of your turn? Famous last words. Blast away!
The ballista shots that numbered over 1,000 were all fired at once, drawing a beautiful geometric curtain of death. The boorish sound as the bowstrings were played was probably even deeper than that of a reaper swinging its sickle.
Come, arise, fallen tower. Split the single language and let that sin be known.
The sky was stained an incandescent red, and from between the clouds a massive blazing tower fell upside down. That massive falling tower and its rubble sucked in the thousands of ballista shots so that not one of them approached the body of the witch who had summoned it. That's right, no group of people, no matter how large, could approach the mysteries of heaven. That was the reality of the fallen tower.
As I'd expect from you, teacher. If you do something, you always do it big. My turn isn't over. Come, arise, sons of Vivaldi. Bestow upon me a worthy spear.
As the massive crimson tower that had fallen made a terrible gold-colored explosion, a massive spear appeared from inside those flames, so tall, like a tower, that you had to look up to see all of it. It was too large even for a giant's hand. That divinely beautiful spear of the gods was so massive, it gave the illusion that the fallen tower had turned into a spear of the same size. It was a spear of certain victory that none could escape.
Looks like your twin towers won't help you now. How foolish to block off your means of escape on both sides. You can't defend against even a single spear.
When she snapped her fingers in command, the massive tower-sized spear shot at Beatrice like a lightning bolt. It aimed right for the middle of the center of the Golden Witch's heart with extreme precision, as she danced in the gap between the towers like a butterfly, slicing straight through the air like a flash of lightning.
Ha! So you use Gungnir at a moment like this? You really are incredible, teacher! Burst, useless towers! Arise, giant soldier battle line! Fully block the divine spear with your shields and chests!
The shoulder war towers exploded in gold. They became several billion gold butterflies. Those butterflies took the shape of 7 massive armored soldiers. Each stretched a full 50 merut into the sky, and they lined up in front of Beatrice, protecting their master and holding massive shields that towered like windmills. They were as massive as a mountain range. The witch behind them was like a small moon hiding behind the mountains. Once in the past, when the massive shields these giants held had been readied by the whole regiment, they had protected King Wilhelm's castle not only from arrows, but from the wind and the rain. For when they had faced upwards and held their shields to the heavens, not a single raindrop had gotten through.
Foolish. The shame of a witch who has forgotten to respect things sacred. Did you think mere giants could defend against the spear of the gods?
Indeed. No matter how much human metal you are armed with, you cannot block a spear of the gods. A wonderful epaulette mate by Madame.
No way! Beatrice-sama! Of course I haven't forgotten, teacher! Come, arise, disciples of Hephaestus! Bestow upon me a worthy shield!
A golden whirlwind arose at the feet of the giant soldiers. It was a cloud of countless butterflies. They attached themselves to the massive shields like gold leaf, sparkling like they were a gold mirror. It was the absolute defensive wall given to a goddess by the chief of the gods, the Aegis Shield. With the holy spear, which left a dignified tail behind it like a comet, crashed into the mountain range of that gold shield, there was a terrible thunderous roar. It was the creaking of the pillars that held up the heavens. The divine spear spun around and around and was sent flying in the direction of the setting sun.
Impossible! She defended against the divine spear.
No, that is not correct. The divine spear avoided her. It is the law of the gods that an absolute spear and an absolute shield must never fight one another. Although in the end it means the same thing as defending against it.
Your skills have improved from engaging in these fights so often. Or rather, it seems you're still as bad as ever at this kind of game, teacher. It's my turn to strike back. I shall follow the cold and counter a spear with a spear.
The giant soldier battle line, which had fully blocked the divine spear, released its holy gold shields. The shields fell to the earth, making the ground shake. When they did, another gold whirlwind arose, and the 7 gold shields changed their form into 7 massive spears of lightning lying on the ground. At once, each of the giants lifted one of their legs high and firmly stomped on the tips of the handles. As the earth shook with a thunderous sound, the 7 lightning spears spun beautifully and flew up above the giant soldiers' heads. They scattered into a golden splash and began to fall before the giants. Each of the giants squared off, and with the force of their whole body, they kicked and smashed them. The broken pieces numbered exactly 30, and became lightning spears of exactly the same size as the originals, which made 210 for the 7 giants, and all of those burst at once, with each splitting into 30 thorns for a total of 6,300. They became a barrage of thunderclouds, drawing a beautiful geometric pattern, and then each changed into 3 bolts of lightning, so that 18,900 thunderbolts shot at the predecessor Beatrice.
It's over! Beatrice-sama!
I would expect nothing less from Madam. That bundle of almost 20,000 thunderbolts must have reduced the teacher's body to dust, but there had been no resistance. Beatrice knew immediately that she had been fooled. At that time, from the direction that the sun had supposedly set, she felt the impossible rays of sunlight. A brilliant ray of light shone on her profile. It was the figure of her teacher, holding aloft the spear of the gods that had been supposedly repelled a short while ago. She bore a sparkle like the sun on her back, and it made it shine on the incarnation of darkness. As Beatrice watched, she was trapped like a mouse in a cage, cornered in a dead end formed by the giant soldier battle line. By now, the predecessor Beatrice had seized a position directly alongside that line.
Playtime is over, Beatrice. Have I exposed my flank?
Her bold expression hadn't faltered even once, but now it twisted for the first time. And faster than Beatrice could click her tongue, the predecessor Beatrice released the holy spear. As it leapt through the air, it changed its form once more.
Come, arise, Verger brothers. Bestow upon me the giant-smashing iron hammer of heaven. Giant soldiers, protect me! What are you doing, you blockheads?
By By now, it was no longer a spear, but the whirlwind of a massive hammer that raised a sound like a windstorm as it flew through the air. It was the legendary hammer that had shaken even the king of the frost giants, so the giant soldiers couldn't escape from that fear. So regardless of how strongly their master ordered them, they couldn't get in the path of that hammer.
Back rank mate, rest in peace. Damn it!
Before the whirlwind of that massive chunk of metal, Beatrice was nothing more than a mere speck. The instant the whirlwind started to suck Beatrice in, she appeared to change into a massive war tower. The iron hammer smashed the war tower, scattering tremendous amounts of rubble, but it did not reach she who had escaped behind it. Furthermore, when the smoke started to settle, the war tower had sucked in the massive iron hammer without crumbling and blocked the way. Even the giant smashing iron hammer couldn't break through the final tower protecting the witch. However, this war tower was actually the witch's last trump card. It was a war tower for dodging that could only save her from danger once, but this tower was impregnable. No weapon could break through it. At that time, the moon disappeared. As Beatrice hid in the shadows of the giant soldier battle line in the war tower, she looked up at the sky. When she did, inside the moon was the figure of a massive horse ridden by the god of war and death. The predecessor Beatrice rode the horse with him. His cloak had blocked the moon and swallowed it in an eerie shadow, and the spear of the gods was in his hand once more. In other words, it was a godly knight who had jumped over the ramparts formed by the giant soldiers in the war tower, attacking from the heavens.
You got me. Smothered mate. It was fun, Beatrice.
The struggle to the death between the two witches with the same name was over. The spear that had been launched from the heavens pierced the ground. The giant soldier battle line in the war tower split up into countless gold butterflies, wrapping the area in a gold-colored storm. Then came the sound of thunder, and the sound of the falling rain and wind. If you looked around, the rose garden was empty. The butler and the rest were watching the two witches confronting each other, but Beatrice alone had changed. She had been pierced straight through by the spear from the base of her neck and her right shoulder to her left buttocks, unable to even reach the ground with her feet, horribly exposed like a pitiful pinned butterfly tormented by the wind and rain.
Beatrice-sama.
As expected, a truly fearsome person.
That settles it, Beatrice.
Ouch! Beatrice wore a bitter smile of false courage, but a strand of blood dangled from her mouth, making her look even more pitiful.
The title and the power of the Endless Witch. You will return them to me now, along with the name of Beatrice. You are too immature to call yourself an Endless Witch. Stop. Forgive me, teacher. I was just fooling around, okay? I will take my name back from you. Shall return you to your original form. Perhaps you should relinquish this power which is beyond you and live a life suitable for yourself. Come, try to remember. What form did you have?
The predecessor Beatrice began to recite the words of power. When she did, small gold butterflies gathered near the skewered Beatrice and began to swarm about her. Like butterflies sucking the nectar out of flowers, they began to suck the magical power out of Beatrice, and it seemed to cause her intense pain. A cry of anguish issued from Beatrice's mouth. She no longer had any power to resist it.
Come, try closing your eyes. Try to remember. What form did you have? Come, Beatrice. Repeat it with me. Let us sing a song together. Then it will be over soon. Let us end your pain as fast as possible.
You're right. How long has it been since I've sung with you, teacher?
Come, together now. Come, try to remember. What form did you have?
Come, try to remember. What form did you have? When the two of them began to recite the same song, more and more gold butterflies danced around, swarming around Beatrice.
It will be all right, milady. You will lose your place as my disciple, but that will not change the fact that you are the lady I serve. After that, I shall read a book for you again. I shall bake you apple pies once more, just like it was long ago. Come, try to remember.
Yes, try to remember. Are you finally starting to remember? Hey, teacher, did you remember that thing behind you?
Is
This? When the predecessor Beatrice looked behind her, there was an eerie hedgehog curled up there. No, it was herself. There was another predecessor Beatrice, whose whole body had been packed with ballista shots, lying there like a pincushion doll. Come, try to remember. What form did you have? Or maybe that's not right. Come, try to remember. How were you killed? The predecessor Beatrice was stunned. Her form gradually began to fade away.
this is...
When did you... At the beginning, I didn't summon a pair of shoulder towers. There were 4 towers. Teacher, you carelessly stepped across the 7th rank rook boundary of death created by the 2 hidden towers, which were lurking in the distance on either side of you. It was bad manners of me to say check this late. I simply must apologize. The battle had been decided at the very beginning. It had been over since the time the predecessor had leaned forward, readying her holy spear to attack Beatrice, who had been wedged between her shoulder towers. The hidden towers lurking on either side had bathed her in a windstorm of ballista shots from 720 ports on both sides, pinning and killing her. However, Beatrice hadn't wanted it to be resolved like that. She had wanted to let her teacher take her next move, and had continued acting as though the game was still on. She had immediately revived her with the endless power, and had made her continue the game as though nothing had happened. Then the predecessor slowly remembered that she had already been killed, and began to vanish completely. When she did, the spear that pierced Beatrice also vanished. Beatrice finally landed on the ground. There wasn't even a trace of a scar. It was fun, teacher. If you want to play again, I'll revive you any time. And once we've had some fun, I'll make you remember that you're a corpse again. See? I did everything you told me to, right? Didn't you tell me to always put my toys back in their boxes when I'm done playing with them? Was it an easy victory? You fool! It was a tough one! If I hadn't tricked her with the 4 towers, I would have been the one dead! As I'd expect from teacher. But now I can stand proud. Now I have completely surpassed teacher. Ronave, clean up teacher's remains a bit. I haven't lost my respect for her that much. Certainly. Tonight's first twilight became a little too riotous. A little cleanup will be necessary. I shall see to it immediately. Goats, it's time to clean up. When Ronave snapped his fingers, blazing, sparkling eyes began to blink open in the shadows and darkness, becoming goat-headed attendants that appeared one after another. One by one, they wordlessly stood at attention in a line behind Ronave's back. This time, what shall be done about the 6 corpses? Another closed room pattern? I'm in no mood to think now. I'll leave it to you, Ronave. An extraordinary closed room to torment Battler, if you would. Certainly. Then it shall be extraordinary. Okay, where's Battler? Battler, did you see my big moment? Damn it! After being shown that screwed up magical storm, what can I deny? Forget just witches existing. After being shown that tremendous flashy fantasy, what can I deny now? I don't get it anymore. It was like that the last time too, but how can I deny these awesome, wonderful, magical battles? Isn't that right? After watching this, you can't talk your way out of it, right? Okay, Battler, let me hear some ridiculous reasoning. Milady, your laugh is becoming undignified. Oh, my apologies. But that isn't my fault. After all, if Battler tightly closes his eyes, grinds his teeth, and shows me the ever so bitter expression, it just automatically slips out of my mouth, you see. So, Battler-sama, why don't you return to the table without losing heart? Milady is expecting your counterattack, you see. Quit messing with me! How the hell can I make a counter-argument? In the first place, everything was already screwed up when that tower sprouted up out of the earth. Should I say that under the ground in Rokanjima there's a secret laboratory for building super alloy combining robots or something? And then pushing a button can make these strange towers sprout up? Right, and then those huge giant must be the robots, or maybe Evil Secret Association's mecha monsters. I don't get it! Don't talk to me! Ah! Look, don't cry, okay? Bang, bang, it's magic. If you want, I'll crush the moon and make comets fall like rain. I can even bury the whole island in those massive breasted Nechans you like so much, see? Come on, look, my turn's over, see? Show me your response, launch your counterattack. You can't, can you? Except that there's a quadrillion things you can't do. You're useless against us, right? You actually like this kind of fantasy, don't you? I get it, it's been going around on the streets lately, hasn't it? In manga and light novels and anime and movies. Some teenage brats get a whole bunch of strange special abilities and they blow up all sorts of stuff with the fate of the world on the line. You love that too, don't you? I know, don't hide it, you love it, right? Hasn't the thing you love just been displayed before your very eyes? Why do you believe it in manga and anime, but we won't believe it in me? Believe it! You can't argue back, not after you've been shown something like this, right? Look, answer! You don't need to think, you can just obediently say, I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama. Look, try saying it. I'm sorry, Beatrice-sama. Try saying it. Say it, don't be embarrassed. Well, what a place to end a chapter. My goodness. Alright, so let's save here. So next Wednesday, we'll be back with more of this. Sunday, we're going to be... excuse me, hold on. Alright. I am drawing a blank here. So Sunday, I'm going to be back with Horizon Forbidden West. And then Wednesday, I'll be back with this. Let's see, what? Oh, okay. Next Thursday, I'm going to be booked. So I won't be streaming next Thursday at all, but I'm going to be trying to start some Death Stranding streams again up on Thursdays, starting on the 21st. At least hopefully. So I kind of want to get that wrapped up because we're kind of in the end game over there. Let's see, what else? Is there anything that I'm missing before we wrap this up? I feel like there's something I'm forgetting to talk about. Alright, well, we're gonna go ahead and raid Aki and Peach. Again, I'll be back on Sunday, so I hope to see you all then. You know what? This is Dr. Novelle signing out. You all have a good one. Let's begin the raid.